Donald Trump really says something so outrageously offensive that could drive me to vote for Vice President Harris, but it's highly unlikely. She doesn't represent my values, my beliefs about policy.
In this video, CNN is finally pressuring the Kamala Harris campaign because time is running out and swing voters are not sold. This is the DeVory Darkins Show. This election is going to come down to the independents and voters that are located in the swing states. We're talking Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, potentially North Carolina, definitely Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And how these voters feel about Kamala Harris right now is everything. And it is not good news. There's a lot of swing voters out there that do not trust her because she's too far left, which begs the question, why hasn't she come out yet and told people what she stands for? And it's funny that CNN is asking the same question too. Let's play that video.
What's on the vice president's schedule today?
Well, she's traveling and talking to voters and getting her message out there to the American people, something that she's been doing from the very start of this campaign and something that she certainly did when she was President Biden's running mate as vice president. But look, you just mentioned the speech she's going to be giving in
North Carolina. I was asking about today, and I don't think she's got any campaign events on the schedule today, does she?
Well, she and Governor Walz have been traveling across the country. They hit nearly every battleground state last week. On the campaign trail, they raised $36 million within the first 24 hours by Governor Walz joining the ticket. And what she's going to be doing Friday is taking her economic message directly to the voters in North Carolina. I certainly don't want to get in front of exactly what she's going to say, but she's going to talk a little bit about how she's going to make sure that she's putting consumers first as part of her economic plan. She's going to take on corporate price gougers. She's going to take on junk fees. And that's something that, John, she did when she was Attorney General of California. Something she continued to do as the United States Senator of California. So she's going to be taking that message out to voters, and I look forward to seeing more of what she's going to say on Friday. I
think we all do, and I'll ask you more about that in just a second. The reason I was asking about today is because it seems like she has time, if she wanted, to do an interview with a member of the media or do a news conference, correct? There does appear to be that time if she wanted.
Well, look, she has said on the campaign trail that she would be doing an interview at some point. She said that, I think, last week during a rope line or when she was talking to reporters. But look, what is important here, John, is that she is taking her message directly to the American people. She hit a number of battleground states. I think we had 15,000 people in Detroit last week, 12 to 13,000 in Nevada. She's been taking her message to the voters and drawing large crowds. So she's actually having those direct conversations.
But not today. All I'm saying is not today. She could do an interview today, I would think, because she's not out there today.
Well, look, she's taking her message directly to voters, and just because she doesn't have an interview schedule on her public schedule doesn't mean that she's not taking her message directly to voters about how she's going to improve their lives, how she's going to protect their economic freedoms.
Hey, let's give credit where credit is due. Finally, someone from this propaganda news channel is using common sense and asking, why is she not doing interviews right now with us? Why is she not showing up? I mean, she's not doing anything. Right? It's just the campaign staff and her surrogate that you see, her little puppet that's on here speaking on her behalf. That is not going to cut it. They need to hear it from the horse's mouth. And thank God CNN is finally pushing back on this. And you see that they don't really have any answers. They keep gaslighting even the media saying, well, she's been giving her policies to the people that come at her rally. Yeah, but when we asked the people who went to her rally what her policies were, they were confused. So what are you talking about?
What is the most important policy issue that she holds that is important to you?
Right? I mean, it's a full-on gaslighting of American people, independent voters, especially the voters in the swing states, and the media. So I find it funny that they finally called her out on that. And to make matters worse, he's got another question for her that I think is legitimate. Let's take a look at that.
No taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers. I believe we heard that for the first time this weekend. So if it is something she has supported, why hasn't she put it forth in the 3.5 years she's been vice president?
Well, John, first of all, she's been the candidate for the Democratic candidate for president for the past few weeks. So she is putting it forward her own agenda. She certainly, again, has many parts of President Biden's agenda that she helped pass, that she supports, but she's also going to be putting forward her own agenda. And that's something you heard her talk about when she talked about no taxes on tips in Nevada earlier this week. She's been endorsed by nearly every union supporting workers. She was just endorsed by the Culinary Union in Nevada, which is a testament to the fact that she is fighting for consumers, that she is putting working families first in her campaign.
Yeah, isn't that a great question? What are her policies and how are they going to be different from Biden? And we already know that she copied the no tax on tips policy, of course. But how could she sell that to the American people if she's already been the vice president for the last 3.5 years? How does she explain that? And these swing voters are not buying it. They just are not. It just, the math is not adding up for them, right? So although you're going to have swing voters and independents who do not like Trump, because personality is a thing for them. And obviously part of his personality is the propaganda machine on the news that has programmed people to hate President Trump because they truly don't know him. They just know who he is based on what CNN says, not the person in real life. But hey, there are people who absolutely believe it. So that is a legitimate concern. But what's a bigger concern is even though people do not like Trump, they're refusing to commit to Kamala Harris, which leads us to this video.
No cats, but married and childless. Now, even more proud she left the GOP.
I've led a very full life that way, and to say I don't have a stake in the future of the country, I had some difficulty with that, and all I could think of, Senator Vance, are you going to tell Ann Coulter or Condoleezza Rice or Elizabeth Dole that they're miserable cat ladies? I don't think so.
London plans to write in a conservative, but she leaves the Harris window open just a crack.
If Donald Trump or J.D. Vance really says something so outrageously offensive, that could drive me to vote for Vice President Harris. But it's highly unlikely. She doesn't represent my values, my beliefs about policy.
Media Cardi is an attorney, a registered Republican. She's angry that Trump constantly attacks courts and judges and election results.
I'm now turning on 80s songs to go back to the 80s. In my lifetime, the Republican Party has changed with Donald Trump.
Clinton 2016, Biden 2020, a never Trumper, she thought. But inflation and immigration soured her on Biden. And then she watched the June debate.
When Biden was on the ticket, I was going to vote for Trump, but now it's a harder call, just because I am not a fan of Donald Trump.
Nor now of Senator Vance.
I'm not a cat lady. I was a childless dog lady, because I didn't meet the right person until I was over 40 years old. So I could very well be one of those childless women. And I found the comment insensitive and narrow-minded.
This is near Cardi's summer home on Maryland's Eastern Shore. She says the conversations back home among her Philly suburban mom friends are crystal clear.
Definitely I have more friends saying that they're leaning towards Harris.
But she still has reservations and hopes a Harris-Trump debate helps.
Tell me what you did exactly at your last job. And what are your goals for this job if you get the job? And that's what I want to hear from Kamala Harris.
Scoring the campaign just like a job interview. In the suburbs, that usually decide who gets hired.
Okay, so you guys seen that the two ladies that obviously were Republican and they've had reservations because they do not like Trump's personality. Remember, if you heard that correctly, they didn't talk about his policies. They said they didn't like his personality. And that's what this election is going to come down to. Policy over personality. And whichever campaign can focus on that will win. And let's understand this. There are different types of voters, right? You have conservatives and MAGA Republicans who are absolutely going to vote for Trump. There's no question about it. And then you have these hardcore Republicans, traditional Republicans, right? I'm talking about the people who are more establishment based. They support a Nikki Haley, a Mike Pence, a Mitt Romney. I would call these people extreme Republican. They are basically the opposite of this progressive movement in the Democratic Party. And then you have the moderate Democrats, people who also call themselves independents, by the way. We're talking about people who probably support Tulsi Gabbard, a RFK Jr., a Dean Phillips. These are individuals who are in the center. They're closer to the center. They're moderate. They do not like Kamala Harris running for president right now because she is too far to the left. Every day that goes by, it's not working for her to keep gaslighting the media, especially these voters in the swing states like a Pennsylvania. And by the way, to my final point on this, the state that she could have chosen to be her VP running mate, the governor, Josh Shapiro, which she totally whiffed on that. And she went with someone who is a proud socialist by the name of Governor Tim Walz, who's under fire for his stolen valor situation. But anyways, I digress. So as I wrap up this video, understand this. This is not looking good for her. When CNN is calling you out and demanding you to come answer questions, you know you've run out of time. When the swing voters who hate Trump still won't commit to you, you know you run out of time. And when that debate happens and we get to see who she really is, I'm going to say that the election, it's like a nail in the coffin for her. It will be over. So that's my mindset. What's yours? What do you guys think about how the swing voters feel when it comes to Kamala Harris? Isn't it interesting that they hate Trump, but they still won't commit to Kamala Harris? And what do you think about the fact that CNN is finally calling her out? Why are you not answering questions? I want to know what your guys' thoughts are and more in the comments section below. Thank you for checking out the video today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Stay grateful, stay focused, and stay true. Peace.